on 92.7 WMDX and the Civic Media app.
When your car is making a strange noise, no matter what it is, you can't just pretend it's not happening.
That's an interesting sound.
It's like your mental health. If you're struggling and feeling
Hey folks, thanks for tuning in to the Todd Allbaugh Show. Got about 30 seconds till we kick it off on this Tuesday, May 6th.
Look who's back. Look who's back, everybody.
Look
Aaron
who's
Zommers
back.
has made a return.
Back again.
I just sent you a cut Mike Pence on Ukraine.
Excellent. Yeah, I saw some of that stuff. All right, here we go.
Thank you.
Live from the Civic Media World Headquarters in Madison, Wisconsin, it's the Todd Allbaugh Show. And now, pursuing truth wherever it may lead, here's your host, Todd Allbaugh.
Across Wisconsin on the Civic Media Radio Network and streaming worldwide on the Civic Media app. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Todd Allbaugh, along with a healthier Aaron Zommers on the board, our producer and engineer. It is Tuesday, May 6, 2025. It is a great day to be in Wisconsin. Wisconsinite. I suppose if you're the state of Wisconsin, it's a great day to be in Wisconsin as well. It's a beautiful day. Gorgeous Boy George day. The skies are blue. The sun is out. Temperatures in the low 70s, at least unless you're along Lake Michigan, as they say, cooler near the shoreline. Mr.
Cooler
Zommers,
by the lake is what
cooler
they say.
by the lake, yeah. Mr. Zommers, welcome back. How are you feeling?
You know, better.
Right.
I got home from the show on Thursday and was thinking, oh no, here it comes.
You can tell.
Yeah. Sometimes you can just tell.
Yeah.
And then Friday through Sunday, pretty much just slept and had a fever. And yeah, it was not fun.
Can still tell in your voice a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Still,
I definitely still a little stuffed up, but it's just getting rid of the crud that's still there.
Well, thank you for coming in today, and many thanks to Sam Davison, who filled in for you.
Yes, thank you, Sam.
While you're under the weather, but glad to have you back in the rotation today, Mr. Zommers. Glad to have you along. Big day today. Coming up in hour number 2, going to talk to more members of the Main Street Alliance here in Wisconsin, a great group. Going to be talking to Matt Robin, or Roybin. We'll find out how to pronounce that when he comes on, from Bricks Cider, and also Corinne Hendrickson of Corinne's Little Explorers. I believe her business is in Mount Horeb in beautiful, or either Mount Horeb or New Glarus. We'll figure that out. And she's going to be here and talking about childcare. Now, this is something that I know we've talked about on our show. Other programs have talked about it as well. But this is a real issue for Wisconsinites all across the state. Finding childcare, the cost of childcare. And so we're going to explore this with Matt and Corinne a little bit. In our communities across Wisconsin, what's the situation and what can be done to improve it? So all that coming up in hour 2. Looking forward to that. Timely indeed. Today's what's worse, having to deal with temperature, sweaty or shivering. We don't have to ask the Zommers which is worse.
Yeah. I mean, well, what's really worse is both at the same time when you have a fever. But
which is what you had. Yeah. No, I'm glad you're no fun at all. So all that, many phone calls as well. I'm going to talk about what tomorrow. By the way, the Brewers playing tonight. Once again, the Astros in town. I think Brewers got a win last night. And so a 6:05 broadcast for the pregame show tonight in Richland Center, Oshkosh, Bagash, Racine, Kenosha, Park Falls, and now in beautiful Hayward, Wisconsin. Civic Media's newest Milwaukee Brewers affiliate. So again, Houston taking on Milwaukee at AmFam Field, 6:05, your broadcast time tonight. Going to talk a little bit about, I know Jane Matnair on air this morning, talked about this. I was listening to her great program. But I think it's important enough that I planned on talking about it. I heard Jane and Greg talking about it. I'm like, well, should I do it or not? I thought, well, I think it's a big enough thing that it bears repeating. Tomorrow, May 7th, a big day if you're a traveler or if you have any business to do with the federal government. I'm going to talk about that in a minute as well. But I want to begin with this. And this is important across the entire state of Wisconsin, but WEAU News, Channel 13 in beautiful Eau Claire, Chippewa Valley, who incidentally won a number of Wisconsin Broadcasters Association awards on Saturday night when I was there. In addition to our own Maggie Dawn, the Maggie Dawn Show, which follows us every day, Maggie Dawn named the top radio show in Wisconsin, large market, at the WBAs. That's the big award.
For the second year in a row, right?
Well, last year I believe it was for her socials, which she won, which she also won again this year. But no, this is
either way.
This is kind of like the Entertainer of the Year award in Wisconsin radio, and Maggie won the whole thing. So congratulations to her. By the way, I know you were not there. We did not win anything.
Yes, we did.
Well, I mean, we
in the third place
out of 3 nominees.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yes. I mean, you know, nobody celebrates the third place winner of the Kentucky Derby, Sommers. We ain't going to the winner's circle or getting any roses.
Fair enough.
But no, we did not win anything. But WEAU for TV, they won a number of awards. Well, here now, and this is in Wood County, but it bears repeating for all of us. Headline: Wood County Sheriff's Department warning about cryptocurrency scam. As the Wood County Sheriff's Department continues to work with Wisconsin state representatives and Wisconsin state senators to create a law to restrict cryptocurrency kiosks, members of our great community continue to be victimized through scams. These cryptocurrency kiosks are located in local gas stations or public places where individuals can buy large amounts of cryptocurrencies, which is unrestricted for a large fee. Normally, the fees are as high as 20 or 30% per transaction, which is completely ridiculous when the cryptocurrency can be purchased for free on a cellular phone or home computers. Have you seen these Sommers driving around?
I have not, and knowing that they exist has lowered my opinion of humanity.
I've seen them recently.
Yeah, the whole thing is you can just go and buy this stuff.
Right. I've seen these kiosks recently in Wisconsin gas stations. I'm like, well, this is new. Maybe. And at first I thought it was like a slot machine. I'm like, I don't think we can do that here, can we? And then, no, it was cryptocurrency. Back to the story from WEAU in Eau Claire. It says scammers have taken full advantage of these kiosks and tricked people into putting large quantities of U.S. currency into the kiosks. When cryptocurrency is purchased, a digital wallet is created and quickly stolen from sometimes the most vulnerable individuals within the community. The Wood County Sheriff's Department has executed numerous search warrants on the cryptocurrency kiosks and seized U.S. currency from them. This money is held in Wood County evidence until interested parties can go through proper court channels to obtain the money. Recently, a cryptocurrency company has been attempting to bully the Wood County Sheriff's Department in their efforts to secure the stolen money. Bitcoin Depot, beware that name, Bitcoin Depot, is well aware that cryptocurrency kiosks are being used for money laundering and scams. Because the Wood County Sheriff's Department moved forward with a valid search warrant on one of the Bitcoin Depot kiosks, they stopped all refunds in the state of Wisconsin when someone is scammed. According to the story, WEAU News in Eau Claire, they say, we believe Bitcoin Depot is taking part in these crimes, because they know the kiosks are being used as a tool for scammers, and they failed to prevent the crimes from taking place. Bitcoin Depot could hold the transaction for a few days, like banks do with large checks, or put daily maximum on cash deposits in the kiosks. But Bitcoin Depot knows that restrictions would cut into their profits, even though it's at the hands of criminals. The Wood County Sheriff's Department will not be bullied, they say, by a company who continues to assist in victimizing individuals within the community. They say we invite them and other cryptocurrency companies to work with us in creating long-term solutions. Please contact your local representatives and support laws that will restrict cryptocurrency kiosks. That's from WEAU, Channel 13 News in Eau Claire. So I bring this up because, again, it's funny this came up on my radar yesterday because I've seen these in different parts of Wisconsin, I would say, over the last month or so. And what they're doing is they're placing them right next to, guess where? The ATM machine. Or as we used to say back in Richland Center, the time machine. You're too young, but they used to be called.
No, I know.
Time. Oh, really? Remember that time?
I didn't see them, but I know about it.
They were called, it was time.
TYME, yeah.
Right, TYME, take your money everywhere. So,
Clever.
So many of us still call them time machines. Anyway, so people are placing these crypto machines right next to a time or ATM machine. So you get your dollars, you get your dollar bills out, and then it's like, oh, wow, for only 20%, you could buy cryptocurrency. And again, to make it overly simplistic for those that might not know, cryptocurrency is basically like the cloud on your phone or your computer. Oh, it's in the cloud. You can't see it. You can't touch it. It's even worse than the cloud because at least some things in the cloud you can like download on your phone or print them out on your computer. This stuff, it's not based on the gold standard. You can't have it in your hands, your pocket. It's just digital. And it's a great way to be scammed. Now, the Bitcoin, I think, which is the original crypto, right?
Or at least the first one that took off.
Right. And that's gone up and down, and some people made a lot of money on Bitcoin. Some people have lost nearly everything. My advice, and I'm no financial planner, I'm not here to give you financial advice, but just good old-fashioned Wisconsin neighborly advice, stay away from the crypto. It's a scam. It's a ripoff. It's the Wild West. I mean, I guess if you're one of those people who's done very well in life, and you go to Vegas or you go to Ho Chunk or whatever, and you take $5,000 with you, and you say, yeah, I don't care if I lose $5,000, it doesn't matter to me. If you have that kind of money, okay. I guess it's like they say with gambling: don't risk more than you can lose.
Additionally, if you have access to a different kind of time machine spelled with an I and you can go and buy Bitcoin in 2010,
Right.
Absolutely do that.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you make a lot of money now. But on this cryptocurrency, it's dangerous, and many thanks to WEAU News in Eau Claire for bringing us this story, and to the Wood County Sheriff's Department as well for cracking down on this stuff, because as they point out in their press release, oftentimes it's the most vulnerable people in our communities who, they're trying their best to make ends meet, and they're like, oh my gosh, this must be legitimate because it's in my local gas station, and I can turn this around, and I can pay my health care bills, or I can pay my back electric bills, and it's like Mom used to say, if it seems too good to be true, it probably is. So just be aware, don't use these cryptocurrency machines if you see them in gas stations around the state of Wisconsin. Want to move on to today. It's like the promos they have for the Today Show. Tomorrow on Today on NBC.
On CBS Mornings this morning.
Right. Tomorrow's May 7th. May 7th tomorrow, the first day that commercial travelers must present a real ID compliant license or another accepted document to board an aircraft in the United States of America, and incidentally, to go into many federal buildings as well. In 2005, Congress passed the Real ID Act, which sought to improve identity verification at airports, that is, in the wake of September 11th attacks. However, implementation of the law was delayed several times, and the enforcement deadline was last extended in 2022. However, the Trumpster not going to extend it, by all accounts. We'll tell you how to make sure you can still fly and get into courthouses. Don't go anywhere. It's a Tuesday edition of the Allbaugh Show, and you're listening to Across Wisconsin on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Here you're listening to 92.7 WMDX. Buying a
All right,
home is
folks, I
kind
went
of
over
like
to,
eating pistachios. Some are easy.
Wonder State on the square before the show in this wonderful Wonder State mug that Zombers and the staff gave me for my birthday. And they had one of their decadent, ridiculously good chocolate chunk sea salt cookies. And I
They're
couldn't
so
say
good.
no. Sorry to eat in front of you on the air. But they're so good.
If they'd had them before, they would understand.
Yeah.
We'll help you find a home that's nothing but perfect.
I'm Dan Schaefer. Let's recombobulate. There's been a whole lot happening in the political universe these last few months. Much of it has been rather discombobulating, you might say. From the first 100 days of the Trump administration to the high-stakes race for Wisconsin's Supreme Court and everything else that went into the spring election in Wisconsin, it's been a lot to wrap our heads around. But now we're entering a new phase on Wisconsin's political calendar. That's right, we're getting into budget season. The biennial budget is the biggest thing that happens in state politics every 2 years, and our elected officials in the Assembly and Senate are going to be making some important decisions.
Zombers, you've been officially welcomed back by
Now
LA
is a
Todd.
great time to contact your representatives.
Thank you, Tom.
Let them know what you think our priorities should be for our next state budget. Because in a government by the people, participation is power, and your voice matters.
Find all of Dan's work at the recombobulation area and on our website at civicmedia.us.
Todd's leaving today.
No, I'm not.
If you love animals and want to help in Dane County, shop
Well, eventually, I
Animals?
hope so.
at one of Dane County Humane
Well, at some
Society's
point this
pet
afternoon,
stores.
Yeah, to go home.
I'm actually going to leave right after the show.
Home goods, toys, furniture,
Are you?
and more.
I really am.
All proceeds support
Well,
the
I'll do our
constant care
promo
of
and
animals in need.
I'm going to grill
Dane
out a
County
little bit
Humane
tonight.
Society
Nice,
Thrift Store.
nice.
Shop Thrift Store West on Watts Road and Thrift Store East on High Crossing Boulevard. Visit giveshelter.org/thrift to learn more.
Everybody wants the same thing from their mattress. A good night's rest, am I right? You need someone to listen to what...
Pursuing truth wherever it may lead and having fun doing it. Welcome back to the Allbaugh Show on the Civic Media Radio Network. Glad to have you along on a Tuesday, May 6, 2025. Glad to have Zombers back on the board as he recovers. A little chicken soup. That's what he needs, Zombers. Well, homemade chicken soup. I should have made some for you. I'm sorry.
I had some canned chicken soup the other day.
Well, that's the best.
It's better
thing.
than no soup.
It is. I think I'm convinced it's a combination of the steam and the salt, and then just the psychological wellness.
Yeah, I think it's all of the above. I would agree.
Yeah, nothing but mom, grandma always said a little chicken soup will go a long way, and they were right. All right, talking about tomorrow, and again, Jane, Matt, Nair, and Greg were fantastic this morning. Listen to them every morning, 9 until 11. Matt Nair on air, and whenever I hear Jane do a story, I think, well, I can't match that. What should I? And here's the topper. The only thing I can do better than Jane, Matt, Nair, I can deliver it without pants. No, just relax. Relax out there. Don't call the FCC. I have pants on. Don't worry.
I have no way to
But-
rotate the camera to prove it.
By the way, I got a new pair of pants. I was going to talk about this yesterday. I forgot. I'm going to reach in my pocket. So I went. I haven't bought a pair of pants at full price in years. I discount. So I go to one of the outlets the other day over the weekend, and I got a pair of Lucky pants. That's the brand. It's called Lucky, and I don't know why, but they fit me pretty well. So I bought a couple pair of them. They have like half price. It's like $40 for a pair of jeans. I'm like, oh, so they're brand new, and so I reached inside. I don't know if they just started doing this or not, or they always have. They have a fortune in the pants pocket of your Lucky jeans.
I'm sure it's because they're lucky.
You're right. And then they give you lucky numbers. This is exactly like, it's like a fortune. You get in a fortune cookie. Now they're coming in pants.
That's amazing.
It really is. And so mine was, and this is pretty good actually. Here is my lucky fortune. It says, always expect the unexpected.
That's not a fortune. It's advice.
It's not exactly a fortune, but it's more than a statement.
That's true.
Because that's my big beef with a lot of Chinese restaurants now. They've gotten away from fortune cookies. I'm not sure if they got sued because the fortune didn't come true, but now it's just like, life is good. Well, that's not a fortune. And I've often wanted to debate with the owner of the Chinese restaurant.
Well, they don't make the cookies most of the time.
Well, they buy them.
That's true.
I mean, come on.
But what are their options?
I don't know. By the way,
many...
are we going to be able to get fortune cookies anymore with the tariffs?
Probably not complimentary.
If they're made in the United States, they're American cookies. They're not Chinese fortune cookies.
Chinese style fortune cookies with style in a very small font.
I don't know. I thought that was fantastic. A fortune in a pair of pants.
Certainly not what I expected.
Always expect the unexpected.
And there's the problem.
Which, by the way, is basically the theme of Big Brother on CBS. Expect the unexpected. All right, I'm sorry. I'm not sure how that happened, but we got delayed there. This story has nothing to do with pants, you understand, except that you have to wear them on planes. They do not let you on planes pantsless. And starting tomorrow, you can't get on a plane unless you have a real ID. According to the Transportation Security Administration, that's TSA to you and me, travelers without a real ID will need to provide an acceptable alternative form of identification, such as a passport or permanent resident card, better known as a green card, and should prepare for additional identity verifications and screenings at the airport. This from Axios now. It says, brace yourself if you're flying in the coming days and weeks for long lines and delays at airports. And this is great advice. So if anybody's flying out for the next couple, 3 weeks, allow it, I would say, at least an extra hour of what you normally would. Because what you're going to have are people who show up at the airport without a real ID, without a passport, and there's going to be yelling and screaming and gnashing of teeth, and there's going to be conflict. It ain't going to be fun. So tomorrow, Wednesday, May 7th, is the first day of Real ID, as we say, compliant licenses or another acceptable document to board aircraft. The new identification requirement also applies when visiting military bases and secure federal buildings like courthouses. So what is a Real ID? A Real ID is a state-issued driver's license or identification card that meets federal security standards. Compliant IDs are typically marked with a star in the upper right corner through the specific design, although a specific design may vary by state. All right, let's go, Zombers. Here we go. Reaching over to get my, by the way, I got to go to Texas because I got my, see this great money clip, and it's leather. It's leather. It has a flag on it. And you know where I got it? I got it in Dallas, Texas, or a suburb thereof. Years ago, I went down and saw my friends Alex and Kristen at this great little shop. And it, unfortunately, it's been years and years. It lasted well. But the problem is I stuffed it with too many things. And so now I either gotta find some place here. I have to go to Texas to go shopping.
Well, you better have a real ID.
Right. Yeah, nicely done. And as a matter of fact, I don't. Here's so here's my license. I don't know, nothing really to steal or anything, but up my upper right hand corner, mine says not for federal purposes. Oops, can we do that? Says not for federal purposes.
Right. Mine that I held up just a moment ago has a star in that spot.
So you have a real ID.
I do.
Did you get it when you renewed your driver's license normally, or did you go make a special trip?
No, when I got my driver's license, I think it was when I got it the first time. They were like, you can pay a couple bucks more and we can make it a real ID. You have to fill out like one more sheet of paper. And I was like, well, why not? This is going to be a requirement someday.
You are smart, as you normally are. We'll come back, talk to more about, because this is really, even though we're having some fun with it, it's a real thing if you're traveling or need to get in a courthouse or military base. We'll tell you how you get your real ID after this. It's the Todd Allbaugh Show for a Tuesday, a sunshiny Tuesday. Sunshine on my shoulder. Call in John Denver, Civic Media.
Madison, real news and great conversation. 92.7 WMDX. Local radio for you and your community. It's Civic Media's mission with stations across Wisconsin. Find your favorites at civicmedia.us.
The weather's got you excited about a garden this year, maybe a landscaping project, and Mother's Day is on the horizon. Those are all ideas that
Fantastic. That's
our
it.
agriculture education
That's exactly
program.
That was way louder than I meant to be.
A quick update on what's happening in food
fantastic.
and farming news on a Tuesday. Take, for example, the Sauk Prairie School system. Troy Telford is one of the agriculture educators there that's helping
Pat
to bring
Kreitlow has
students
canceled
together
my
with the
event
general public
for
through
tomorrow
plant
morning.
sales. And he says
I've been
plant
canceled
sales
for the
have
Pat
become
Kreitlow show.
very, very popular there.
Last year we had a line starting
Changing the
well over
podcast
an hour
description
before
just
we
to be
even opened.
Todd gets
So by
canceled.
7 a.m.
I've
people
been
were here
canceled.
waiting to get in. You know, the line forms, I would say by the time we opened the doors, we probably had 100 people in line already at that point. If I had to guess, 200-300 people probably come through on that first day. So we usually try to, like in our greenhouse, while we do have a lot of space, we do limit how many people can kind of flow through, just so that way it doesn't get confusing for people taking other people's plants that they set aside. So we kind of have like a door monitor that allows and kind of regulates the flow in, but we set all of our baskets outside so people can see them, so they at least can see something when they get here in the morning.
That's Troy Telford,
my
one of the
current driver's
agriculture
license
educators
expires
at the Sauk
on my
Prairie
birthday
School
this year,
system.
December
He said not
2nd.
only are they raising
Should I renew
money
it sooner
for
than
their
that?
school programs, he said obviously it's an educational experience for the
can,
students
but you
involved.
have to, but
from raising the
it's
plants
not
that
good
people
after
are
midnight.
buying right on through to the
I just mean,
business
like,
transactions. If you're interested,
do you think
can
it's
find
going to
out
become more
about their
difficult
upcoming
to
sale this
get that?
weekend at saukprairieffa.com/.
I think we're going to talk about that. I mean, I think for the next month, yeah.
You get more
but,
than just a fly control
when the university starts at the end of the
more
year.
support, more expertise, and more control to prevent the emergence of nuisance flies from the manure of treated cattle by as much as 96%.
Oh, yeah, I
It is
definitely-
perfectly
I don't
blended
need to
in
go
your
out and
mineral
do it today
supplement
or
to become
something
a
like
part of what you are already doing, feeding your cattle. Get control of flies with a comprehensive program built
Hello,
around
Tony.
Clarifly
I have
Larvicide
returned.
and Sarbar products. To learn more about Clarifly Larvicide, contact your local feed dealer or visit centralflycontrol.com.
One of your biggest investments, season
Do you have
after
Kreitlow's
season,
cell number?
is high-quality feed. But are you getting the most from it?
I think I
You are
do.
using a
Check it,
silage
let me know.
inoculant to preserve the quality and nutritional value of your high-quality
Yeah, it's 920,
silage.
but no, that's
The answer is no. When you pair
it's
your
not a
high-quality
92. I know it's not a
silage with
920. I know
science-based,
that.
research-proven Cytosolve brand products from Novo
Wrong part of the state.
Not only are you supporting improved herd health and performance,
Yeah, I have a cell number.
but you know
Do
you're
you
getting
not?
the maximum
Oh,
return
I
on your
do.
feed investments. Talk to your local
Be
dealer
prepared.
about what sets
I'm going to
Cytosolve
call them up on
inoculants
the air and
apart.
find out why I've
Purchase
been
your silage
canceled.
inoculant today.
You
And
want us to
Wisconsin
call and
farmers
Yeah,
are
but
trying to
not-
capitalize on
we gotta
spring
finish this,
planting
but then-
activities. As of
but then when I
Sunday,
give you the high sign,
16% of our corn
Okay.
was in
let's
the
call
ground,
them up live on the air
17% of our
and
soybeans
find out why I've
already
been
planted.
canceled.
That's a look at food news on a Tuesday. I'm Farm Director Pam Yankee.
Your news, conversations, and a whole lot of fun. It's all on your local Civic Media radio station or the Civic Media app.
We're warming things up today under
Wonder State Coffee. That's what Todd is on today.
Temperatures will soar to the mid-70s. Soak it up because the cold front drops through tomorrow, dropping us down to the mid-60s. We stay a touch cooler for Thursday too before we heat right back up for the weekend. I'm meteorologist.
what's the title of the
Brittany Merlot.
Axios
Right
article?
now, it's 74.
It's called Real ID Deadline is Wednesday. What to know before flying.
Excellent. They just have a bunch of articles about it, so I wanted to make sure I linked to the right
This is
one.
from the
I have.
3rd.
Yep,
Don't
I found
worry
it.
about a setback. Just save up and stack up to reach them. Let's put ourselves in the right position. Pre-game to greater things.
Start building your retirement plan at thisispretirement.org. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Nightlight with Pete Schwaba.
Mike Strelo, anchorman at CBS 58 in Milwaukee. We have a new friendship now. I feel like I've known you longer, probably because of the Marinette connection, but you have a face people can trust.
Okay.
Do you hear that? I have a very untrustworthy face. I'm trustworthy, but this face is trouble.
I love, your wit and your humor.
Do you think Pete has an untrustworthy face?
No, I heard that. I thought not at all.
I don't think so at all. He just loves the self-deprecating.
Sunshine on my shoulders makes me happy. Sunshine in my eyes can make me cry.
Going out by request to the lovely and talented June Nee, WRCO's Phil Nee, his lovely and talented wife in Richland Center. John Denver, Sunshine on My Shoulder. Look outside, Summers. This is the perfect song for today. Think about that, whether you're in the Rocky Mountains or whether you're in northern Wisconsin by a lake, whether you're by Lake Michigan. By the way, they're trying to take out that big boat, I heard. Dan Schaefer, I heard about one of the shows. Maybe it was on Kreitlow's this morning. And that big boat, it's like the SS Minnow from Gilligan's Island. It got shipwrecked on the shore. I saw it when I was down there doing our show at UW Milwaukee here a couple, 3 weeks ago. It's shipwrecked. Then they brought in another boat. That boat got shipwrecked. And it was very embarrassing because they brought the mayor out there and everything. So now that I think they're bringing in a crane. So anyway, if you're on the shores of Lake Michigan, anywhere you're at today, it's absolutely beautiful weather. Forecast for today in Madison, Wisconsin, looking for a high of 74 degrees. That's perfect weather, in my opinion. 74 and sun. Tomorrow, a few more clouds, a high of 69, which perfect weather for some afternoon delight. And then Thursday cools down a bit more to 62. Friday, a high of 67. And then get ready for the weekend, Mother's Day weekend, 74 and sun on Saturday, 75 and sun on Sunday, 78, 80, 80, 82 into late next week. I mean, that's just, spectacular weather in my opinion. Now, Milwaukee, a little bit more cool. Only 70 today, then in the 50s for the next couple of days, then rebounds by Monday to 72. So as you said, cooler near the lake. Let's check out, as long as we're doing the weather here, let's check out what's happening in southwest Wisconsin in the RC. Actually, I'm going back to Richland Center for the weekend. Now, I can tell you the weather in Copenhagen. I can tell you the weather in Bremerton right now, in Pasadena, in San Salvador. For some reason, Richland Center has disappeared. Well, it'll be close to Madison. But anyway, it's an absolutely beautiful day all across the state of Wisconsin. So get outside, enjoy the outdoor weather, and enjoy yourself. By the way, off the text line here, Dave, listening to New Berlin, another great John Denver song. Thank God I'm a country boy, right? How about that? Let's see here. Casper says friends with boats for tomorrow's weather. That could be well, indeed. Chris in Janesville says it's nice even if you're stuck inside selling furniture. Well, Chris, you're absolutely right. Offer to carry something out to a customer's car or truck, maybe. I don't know. That's fantastic. Thanks for listening, Chris, down in Janesville via MDX as you're selling there on the floor, helping people get the right furniture. Dave in New Berlin says it's 75 and sun right now in Milwaukee. How about that? Now, this is great. The Chuckster from Racine was listening a few minutes ago before the break. I was talking about I bought these new pants, Lucky Pants, and they put a fortune now in Lucky Pants. And I was complaining about too many Chinese restaurants. They don't give you a fortune anymore. They give you a statement cookie. And the Chuckster in Racine says, before reading your Chinese fortune cookies, you need to first say, between the sheets. Then the fortune probably would work for the new pants, too. So let's try this out. Between the sheets, always expect the unexpected.
Well, you better be very prepared there, Todd. That's all I got to say.
My grandpa used to do that in church, and it drove my grandma crazy. He'd say, I say, put under the bed. Read something out of the hymnal, and then put under the bed. So, up from the grave he arose under the bed.
Is this funny?
And my grandma would say, honestly, Warren. And he'd say, well, I am being honest. All right, enough of this silliness. This is serious. Serious news. If you're a flyer, if you're a traveler, lots of people now with summer plans. Maybe you're going to a graduation. You're flying to a graduation, a destination wedding, perhaps down in Marco Island, Florida. That could be a possibility as well. make sure you have a real ID. According to Axios, a real ID is a state-issued driver's license or identification card that meets federal security standards. Compliant IDs are typically marked with a star in the upper right-hand corner. Now, what I thought I'd do to make this, the new word they like us to use, hyper-local. This is hyper-local. Here we go. This now, according to the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel. They have a great story here. Let me get you the author. This is Maya Pandy and Alex Groth wrote this story for the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel. Says, what is a real ID? Well, we've talked about that a little bit already. Says, what if you don't have a real ID after May 7th, 2025? It says, you will have to use other TSA-approved identification to fly domestically or visit certain federal facilities. Other TSA-approved alternatives include, I'm not going to, well, we'll get through, there's a bunch of them, actually. Let me give you some of the top ones. Easiest, simplest, if you have a current valid U.S. passport, that works. So if you have a U.S. passport, you don't need a valid one. You don't need a real ID. A state-issued enhanced driver's license, we talked about that. A DHS trusted traveler card. I know a few people have these, but not many. It's like this is the global entry, nexus, all that stuff. U.S. Department of Defense ID, including the department's ID. A permanent resident card. A border crossing card. An acceptable photo ID issued by a federally recognized tribal nation, Indian tribe. And then there's a foreign government issued passport. And there's a bunch of, if you have a U.S. Merchant Marine or U.S. Merchant Mariner credential, you're in luck. I'd like to know how many of our listeners have a U.S. Merchant Mariner credential. I'd like to see that. That's fantastic. If you have a U.S. passport, no, you do not have to have a real ID card for travel domestically. You can still get your driver's license after May 7th, 2025. Your driver's license will remain valid just for driving around Wisconsin after tomorrow, and you can continue to use it to drive, but you'll no longer be able to use it to fly domestically or visit federal buildings. So here you go. How to get the real ID in Wisconsin. This from the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel. To obtain a real ID in Wisconsin, you'll need to go to your local DMV and will not be able to complete the process online. You can visit the DMV's website at DL Guides. Really? dlguides.wi.gov. DL, I'll spell it out. GUIDES.wi.gov. What's the DL for?
Probably driver license.
Oh, I was thinking down low. You have to go to the dlguides.wi.gov to start filling out the necessary forms. The price.
Yes, I went to it. It says driver license guide, so that is what it stands for.
All right, fantastic. I mean, you wouldn't need to be DL just to get a real ID, right? Nothing to be secretive about that. The price to get a real ID in Wisconsin is the same as getting or renewing a regular driver's license, $34. A regular photo ID card costs $28. So here's the thing. All right, here's the important stuff. What you should bring to the DMV to get a real ID. You'll need to bring the following documents with you to get the real ID in Wisconsin. Some documents may be used for more than one category, whereas others only satisfy the requirement of a single category. Here's what you need. 1, proof of name and date of birth. All right, so if you click on that, what does it say? It says, reading through here, the here dots, the dots, the periods, and so forth. A certified birth certificate. Well, number one, you can bring a valid U.S. passport. That's the easiest. Or a certified birth certificate or equivalent document from the state, territory, or certificate of birth abroad issued by the U.S. State Department. In accordance, there's things from Puerto Rico as well. Wisconsin, this is important, will not not accept any Puerto Rican birth certificate certified before July 1st, 2010. And then for Canadians, birth certificates are not acceptable. And then it goes on and with more information to that. So you need basically a certified copy of your birth certificate, proof of legal residence in the U.S., proof of name change if your name is different than what's on your birth certificate. So particularly women, but I know there are some men that take different names as well. They have a partner or significant other and they get married. So if you've changed your name, what's different on your birth certificate, you need proof of that, proof of your address and social security number. You can use the DMV's interactive driver licensing guide for a personalized checklist of the required documents. Zommers, when you went in, did you bring all this stuff?
I mean, I'm pretty sure I got my real ID when I got my first driver's license at 16, so I don't exactly remember what I all had to bring with me, to be honest.
You got a real ID at 16?
I think so.
Like 9 years ago?
I believe so.
Wow. All right.
Because I remember, I mean, if I didn't, it was the first time it got renewed, but I think the first time it got renewed is the one I have now, so I'm pretty sure I got it the first time.
And see, this one point here, proof of name change if your name is different than what's on your birth certificate. This is particularly pointed towards women. And I don't want to get too far down this road right now because that's not what the main part of this segment is. But this is where it gets real complicated and real dangerous when you have people in the Trump administration and MAGA Republicans in Washington saying, hey, unless you have proof of your name change, we're not going to allow you to vote because we don't know whether you're a real citizen or not.
Yeah, I've seen a lot about that.
Yeah.
And how you need a lot of extra verification with that.
Yeah, exactly. So when you hear things like, it just makes, at first you think, well, it makes sense. Only citizens should vote. What's the big deal? On the face of it, I agree, right? But then you start digging down to what that means. And what that means is that Trump and some of the people in his administration, the MAGA people in the Trump administration, they want to use this to make it more difficult for women who have gotten married or anybody who's changed their name since birth to vote. So just a heads up on that. But anyway, what's at hand here is this real ID. So we're going to put all this in the show notes. Zommers always does a great job of that. You can go to Wisconsin DMV as well, because what you don't want to do, and I renewed my driver's license last fall. I had needed to get that done. And I was like, well, can I just do the real ID now? And I couldn't because I didn't have my birth certificate with me and my passport is expired. And so, but I had to I just wanted my driver's license to get it done, so I got it done. But what you don't want to do, and Zommers brought this up, I think, over the commercial break. Yeah, if you're going to travel the next few days, you better plan, like, take off a day of work and go stand in line all day because the DMV lines are going to be out the door. So pack your patience, give the people at the DMV office your consideration, and get ready to wait. But if you can hold off, I would just get outside and enjoy the sunshine because it's going to be a long line. Come on back. It's the Allbaugh Show on Civic Media.
Local news, weather, and sports on air and streaming on the Civic Media app. This is the Civic Media Radio Network.
Friday nights are for fish fry at the Lazy Oaf Lounge. Enjoy baked or fried cod, deep fried bluegill and lake perch, warm bread out of the oven with some tasty side dishes. Plus, the Lazy Oaf Lounge is a great place for lunch with great daily specials, soups made from scratch, and fast, friendly service. The Lazy Oaf Lounge, 1617 North Stoughton Road in Madison. Find specials, menus, and more at lazyoaflounge.com.
Streaming TV is where it's at. It's not about cutting the cord anymore. It's all about your customized TV options. With the best and cheapest high-speed internet and your own TV subscriptions, we've got your dream TV lineup. Between wired and satellite internet and TV, save money and get more internet speed and better TV today by calling the Whole Home Connect.
800-217-9129. 800-217-9129. 800-217-9129.
You want to feel important.
You want to be part of something bigger, something that matters and can help change things.
You want to feel like you belong.
We know. We felt that way too. And that's why we did something about it.
We aren't just Army National Guard soldiers.
We are normal people just like you. But our part-time service in the Army National Guard means we get to be more.
When our communities are in need, we get the chance to stand up and do something about it.
We get to serve in our own region and help the people we call neighbors.
From the lakeshores of Ohio, Michigan, Wisconsin, and Minnesota,
The fertile fields of Indiana, Illinois, and Iowa to the wide open plains of North and
Jeff Perry, I'm
South
sorry,
Dakota.
I'm sorry I missed your comment earlier, Jeff. I didn't see that. Jeff, the perfect temperature for an afternoon to like 69 degrees.
Visit NationalGuard.com to find out more.
Sponsored by the Wisconsin Army National Guard, aired by the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association and this station.
Amicus, a law review with Jim Santel.
Ross calling in.
Thanks for your show. I'm just wondering if we're watching or witnessing a legal system that where what we thought was precedent is now going to be sort of cast away.
The reality is the question that you raise about the future and what are the implications?
Is there a question about it? I'm not entirely sure what the question
always
is.
Be bedrocks of our community, of our nation, are no longer that.
Amicus, a law review, Saturday mornings from 9 to 11.
Imagine home. The smell of coffee, the sound of a lawnmower, the sun's warmth on your face. Free to be yourself. Surrounded by love that helps you grow.
Seconds. Gracias.
This is a place to call home.
Wherever it may lead and having fun doing it. Welcome back to the Todd Allbaugh Show on the Civic Media Radio Network. 8 minutes before the hour of 3 o'clock, the top of the hour, ABC, CBS News, a little weather, sports for you. I believe Clemens is off today and Jimmy Kuska on the sports desk today. And then hour number 2, which will include a What's Worse for today, sweaty or shivering. We'll talk about that in a bit. And then we have Matt from Bricks Cider and Corinne from Corinne's Little Explorers from the Main Street Alliance talking about childcare in hour number 2. So looking forward to that. Right now, talking about tomorrow, which is May 7th, which is the day that they're going to start enforcing. You have to have a real ID driver's license or a current U.S. passport to fly domestically and internationally. And, of course, get into some federal buildings, courthouses, and military bases. Megan, listening on WMDX in Sun Prairie, says, I got my real ID a few years ago after I got married. I already had a lot of those identification documents with me, so just got the real ID part done at the same time. I had to update my Social Security card first before I could update much else. This was in 2021. Can't imagine how that looks now. All right. Thank you very much, Megan. I appreciate that. Also, Troy in Mount Horeb heard me say, I'm not sure what happened. My phone's been acting weird lately. I tried to find the forecast for the old hometown in Richland Center. I hear Troy sends it to us. That's very nice. 79 today. 79 and sunny in RC.
Oof.
Fantastic. 74 tomorrow. 69 on Thursday. Friday, 74. And then Saturday and Sunday. Spectacular. Sun and 80 and 83 for Mom's Day. So, I love
more
it.
than I'd like.
I love it. Zommers is not.
You love it, and I won't hold that opinion against you.
I appreciate that. Joseph watching on YouTube. Remember, you can watch us on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Twix, all those things. Joseph says, hello, guys. Are these Civic Media T-shirts available for purchase? I remember Todd wearing one recently with the station coverage area graphic. Joseph, thanks so very much for watching and listening. You're absolutely right. Very, very astute. That's my favorite Civic Media T-shirt. Has all the circles on it of our coverage area. Yes. The answer is yes. Go to our website, civicmedia.us, civicmedia.us, and then click on shop, merch, purchase. I don't know. What is it?
It is store.
Store. That's what it is.
And also, if you're currently watching on YouTube, Tony did the Lord's work. He provided the link for Joseph. So.
See, look at Tony Zimmerman. He's the best. All right. Thank you so very much. Talking about this Real ID going into effect tomorrow, 855-752-4842, 855-752-4842. I'm very excited now. We're going to Stoughton, which next weekend, 16th, 17th, and 18th, it is Sittin' to My Days in Stoughton. And I hear now the honorary chairman of this year's festivities, CJ in Stoughton. Is that true, CJ? Are you the honorary Norski of Sittin' to My this year?
No, they bypassed me again.
Why is that?
I've lived there for
Why is that?
For 60 years. Well, they're a pretty good judge of character.
Are you Norwegian?
My family, my parents moved there when I was 5, and they took me with from the east side of Madison.
Well, you're
Norski-esque. My sibling brothers told me I was adopted my whole life.
Right. What do you got?
That's because I was Mom's favorite.
Oh,
and I was a Stoughton Norwegian dancer.
Really?
Yeah.
All right, that's cool.
It was performed at Disney World.
No way. Did you really?
Telemark Lodge every year for the Birkenbeiner.
Wow.
And I actually, my mom loved it more than I did. I actually told her my junior year I was going to quit, and she said, "The hell you are."
Tough Norwegian Lutheran love right there.
Yeah, she didn't mince many words, let me tell you. But, as you're speaking, Todd, your producer, Mr. Dahmers,
yes.
said he got his Real ID, I don't know, 9 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't that speak highly to the efficiency of our government that people are now waiting to the very last minute?
Yeah,
and Trump's getting criticized for putting the hammer down and doing what the government says, kind of like the Department of Education. We sure haven't done that either, have we?
I think there's two different issues. I think it's two different issues. No, I'll correct. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think I mentioned Trump in this whole thing. Or I guess
you didn't, but I am, because people are criticizing him for it.
No,
and
this got put.
You know what?
This got put in place after. This got put in place after 9/11. It went through Bush 2's administration, Obama's administration, Trump 1. Biden's administration, and it kept getting delayed because people, and part of it was because of COVID, and we can't implement it. And so, no, I mean, Trump had little, if anything, to do with this being implemented tomorrow. This has been in the works for a long, long time, and it's just that it's finally now going to take effect.
Yeah, kind of like moving our embassy to Bethlehem.
They didn't move it to Bethlehem. They moved it to Tel Aviv or to Jerusalem. They went from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem, not Bethlehem.
Well, I think they did. That's where.
No, they didn't. Let's not promote fake news.
Thank you for taking my call. You're one of the few hosts that still will. And they've gotten rid of a lot of the hosts that would have.
Well, we appreciate you being here and celebrate Sittin' to My for us. There's a small chance we may make it down there for Sittin' to My, but if we don't, you celebrate it for us.
It's a great parade. It's one of the best in the state.
Yep.
Tons of marching bands. It's a lot of fun. If the weather's great, you better get there early, because that sidewalk on both sides is plumb full.
Thanks, CJ. Appreciate it. Got Sittin' to My in Stoughton, and also Sittin' to My up in Westby, Wisconsin, just south east of La Crosse. Two of the great Sittin' to My festivals in the state of Wisconsin. All right, come on back. Zommers is going to do a jig. No, he's going to be here for What's Worse. And we have great guests from Main Street Alliance. All that. Hour 2 is the Allbaugh Show for a Tuesday on Civic Media's Radio Network.
Is 92.7 WMDX Columbus, Madison's home for real news and great conversation.
Bethlehem, you said.
A civic media station.
They did not move
ABC
the
News,
embassy to
I'm Michelle
Bethlehem.
Franzen. Following a dangerous radar outage at Newark International Airport last week, Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy says they've taken steps to make air traffic safer and are working on a bipartisan plan to overhaul the air traffic control system nationwide.
We've slowed down the traffic, right? So safety is our mission. Right? Efficiency is not, we love efficiency, but safety is critical for us. And so if we feel like there's issues in the airspace, we'll slow it down.
Flight Radar 24 shows nearly 900 flights have been canceled since last week's brief outage. The Supreme Court lifting a court's temporary ban on the Pentagon's plans to remove transgender personnel from the ranks while the case plays out in the lower courts. President Trump and Canada's Prime Minister met today at the White House. Tariffs at the top of the agenda. Both leaders say more negotiations will be needed for a trade deal. At the Vatican, cardinals are sequestering for tomorrow's conclave when they begin voting.
Thinking back, when I went to go blow my nose and immediately wash my hands, I was thinking about when I got my first driver's license, and yes, I did. We brought like everything: birth certificate, social security card,
the whole bit.
Just everything we had. Because we're like, I don't know, probably need some of it.
For 92.
And then they're like, well, you already have all this stuff here. Let's just do the real ID. I'm like, okay.
In an update to a story we've been following, the man police say hit a family walking their dog with his car is now facing homicide charges, and they believe it may have been out of revenge. The crash happened in Cottage Grove last Monday. Cottage Grove police say Jeffrey Endress hit the family with his car, killing chiropractor Cammie Hansen and the family dog, and hurting her husband and son. WISC reports, according to the
David New Berlin, thank you very much.
I thought that was funny.
I appreciate that. Says I'm pissed because I can't hear as much Todd Allbaugh in the new time slot. Who the hell is Tom Hartman?
Happened 2 hours later. The outlet reports neighbors told police they saw Endress jerk the vehicle seeming to hit them on purpose. Endress is now charged with first-degree intentional homicide and 2 counts of attempted first-degree homicide. He's in jail, and a Dane County judge set his bail at $1 million. Hansen's son needed surgery for his injuries. And someone new has been crowned the wealthiest person in Wisconsin. Here's Jimmy Kuska.
Wisconsin has a new person atop the leaderboard of richest people living in the state. For several years, the top spot has been held by John Menard Jr. According to Forbes, Menard, who owns the home improvement chain bearing his name, has a $21.7 billion net worth, which is now second highest in the state. Diane Hendricks of Beloit now holds the distinction of being Wisconsin's wealthiest resident at $21.9 billion. Hendricks, who co-founded ABC Supply, was born and raised in west central Wisconsin.
Perry is on a roll today.
Judy Faulkner.
Didn't they move Tom Hartman to Bethlehem?
Yes. She was named the third richest self-made woman in the country. Epic employs
hear about the Church of the Nazarene Network.
3 out of every 4 Americans has some kind of medical record stored in the Epic system. I'm Savannah Tomei Olson. You're listening to 92.7 WMDX News.
Rabbi.
The Brewers are back to 500. Hi, I'm Jimmy Kuska filling in for Mike Clemens. Christian Yelich hit a 2-run home run as Milwaukee won its second game in a row. Yelich.
Oh, Jeffrey, you make me laugh.
That call courtesy of FanDuel Sports Wisconsin. That blast was part of a 3-run third inning for the Brewers, winning 5-1 over the Houston Astros last night. The home run was the highlight, but it was a team effort.
Everybody's going to notice Yellie's homer. And,
Rabbi Craig Peach.
Hoskins 2 hits with a big double.
Shalom.
But Bowers' bunt hit made that kid throw extra pitches and got us deeper in the inning.
Starting pitcher Tobias Myers did well.
He set the tone. He threw strikes. That was it. He attacked the zone with all 3 pitches.
Rabbi C.D. Hartman.
Change up much, but he attacked the zone.
It's a Torah preaching, a Torah teaching synagogue.
Wrap up their 3-game series tomorrow afternoon.
Does he have Pastor Kreitlow on his staff?
No, speaking of that, we gotta. That's what we gotta. That's get ready. Because we're dialing up.
Media lineup
We're dialing them up.
.us or the Civic Media app.
We're warming things up today under bright and beautiful skies. High temperatures will soar to the mid-70s. Soak it up because the cold front drops through tomorrow, dropping us down to the mid-60s. We stay a touch cooler for Thursday, too, before we heat right back up for the weekend.
Don't dial. Yeah, I want to dial on the air.
Currently, it's 76.
The Maggie Dawn Show.
I want you to bring it up so it's still ringing, so we can hear the ringing. You know,
I don't know if I can.
Oh, really?
I don't know if it lets me do that.
Can you dial
But
it
I can
and then
just
put it
pull
on
up
hold? Yeah.
a ringing sound.
Well, no, don't do that. Just dial it and then put it right on the air.
I'll try.
All right,
I don't know
we'll
if
give it a
it'll
try.
let me.
We'll give it a try.
The Maggie Dawn Show. Weekday afternoons 4 until 6 on your local Civic Media radio station and on the app. The John and Gordy Show.
You know the name J.J. Thompson? He was a real trendsetter going by the name J.J. back in the 1800s.
Yeah. They didn't do that
exactly. Well, in 1897, J.J. Thompson, he announced the discovery of the electron.
Did he show it to everybody?
Yeah. Pulled one out of his pocket.
30 seconds.
Sorry,
Discovered the electron.
Live from the Civic Media World Headquarters in Madison, Wisconsin, it's the Todd Allbaugh Show. And now, pursuing truth wherever it may lead, here's your host, Todd Allbaugh.
Across Wisconsin on the Civic Media Radio Network and streaming worldwide on the Civic Media app. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Todd Allbaugh, along with Mr. Aaron Zommers, our producer and engineer on the board. It is Tuesday, May 6, 2025. It is a great day to be a Wisconsinite. Welcome to hour number 2 of the big broadcast. It is 6 minutes past the hour of 3 o'clock. Glad to have you along over the airwaves all across the state of Wisconsin on the network, as well as on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twix. That's a combination of Twitter and X, Twix. The stream. Always glad to see you in person. You can see Zommers and I on the stream. Lots coming up in hour number 2. In just a minute, we're going to have another edition of What's Worse for you, having to do with temperature. All temperature. And then at the bottom of the hour, we have Matt from Bricks Cider and Corinne from Corinne's Little Explorers from the Main Street Alliance program here in Wisconsin. They're going to talk about childcare, a very, very important issue for many of us, for many families all across the state. Going to dive into that issue, childcare, on a Wisconsin level. All right, now, first of all, we're going to do a little business on the air here. Because as many of you have noted, we appreciate David New Berlin putting his expression out there, saying he can't hear enough of the program now since we've changed time slots. And I apologize for that, Dave. I had nothing to do with it. You can always find us, of course, on the podcast on civicmedia.us. You can listen to us on demand, as they say. But there's been a lot of changes around, like all the time changes and stuff. And then I appear on Pat Kreitlow's show on Wednesday mornings, and then he comes on our show on Wednesday afternoons. Now, last week I came a day early, which I think is embarrassing for all of us if we've ever been there. But anyway, I was on early. I was on early on Tuesday last week, and then I called in on Wednesday. I was on 2 days in a row. Now, while I'm on the air here, I get a message from Kreitlow. It's my calendar, and it says canceled event. Todd Allbaugh on Wednesday, May 14th, 2025, 7:45 to 8 a.m.
Wait, did you say 14th?
The 14th.
That's not tomorrow.
Oh, no, that's right. It's in 2 weeks. But still, I've been canceled now. Why? So I'm just, am I done with that spot now? Or have I done something to offend the man? Why have I been canceled? I think we should call him up and find out.
Well, we certainly can.
All right, let's call Kreitlow. This is live on the air. He has unless he's listening, which I doubt he really. He doesn't have time to listen to this program. He's out there cruising Lake Wissota on his pontoon boat. We're gonna dial. Zommers is dialing up Kreitlow right now. We'll see if we can get him on the air live. Pat Kreitlow, host of Mornings Now with Pat Kreitlow. His new time is 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. Oh, this is fantastic. This is great. Here we go. Does he take a nap in the afternoon? We don't know. He probably won't recognize the number. This is why.
Hi, this is Pat Quitewell. Leave me a message. Thanks.
Pat, you're live on the air. It's 10 minutes after the hour, 3 o'clock on Tuesday, May 6th. We're discussing now. I've gotten a memo, an email saying that I've been canceled for the show for 7:45 on May 14th. We just want to know, did I do something wrong? Have I ticked you off? Give us a call. We'd love to talk with you. 855-752-4842. And now would be a good day to stop day drinking. Talk to you later, Pat.
By the way, I looked at the Civic Media calendar, and I have found why you were canceled that day.
You figured it out?
Yeah, he's on vacation.
Oh, he's on vacation. And so the fill-in person doesn't want me around. Who's filling in? Do we know?
I don't know that yet. No.
All right. Well, that was fun. I enjoyed that. Wouldn't have been great if you would have answered, though.
It would have.
Pat's got things to do. He's out and about. All right. Well, that was fun. 11 minutes past the hour of 3 o'clock. Time once again for What's Worse. Let's go.
This or that, this or that. Then, of course, the choice is yours. You can get with this or you can get with that.
Time once again for What's Worse. No prize money to give away. Nothing involved in terms of money or cash. It's your chance to have your voice heard across the state of Wisconsin, all 11 stations of the Civic Media Radio Network. No better place to have your company advertised on than Civic Media. Give us a ring-a-ling at civicmedia.us. By the way, I hear tell now, I actually made it to one of the staff meetings this week. And this is exciting. We're going to start doing Friday Fiesta.
Free Ticket Fridays, yes.
That's what it's called. I like Friday Fiesta better. Free Ticket Friday. The Friday Free Ticket Fiesta. That's what it is. And we're going to be giving away Brewers tickets every Friday for the rest of the Brewers season. The Brewers play today at 6:05, broadcast time start, against the Houston Astros in Richland Center, Oshkosh, B'gosh, Racine, Kenosha, Park Falls, and Hayward tonight. But starting on Friday, you can listen to Quitelow's show, assuming he's there. And then you can listen to the Jane Matt Nair program from 9 until 11. And then I guess I've heard Tom Hartman's giving away tickets. I'm not sure how that's going to work. And then we're giving away tickets. And then
Maggie. I think Todd's going through it today, it seems.
Maggie. I'm sorry, Maggie. I was having one of those senior moments. You realize I am a senior citizen now. When you know what you want to say and then it won't come out of your mouth. And then Maggie's going to give away tickets. And here's the thing. Every Friday, we're going to be asking you what each of our middle names is. And if you could give us the middle names, you'll win free tickets. That might not be exactly how it's going to work.
I'll give you a hint. Yeah. Jane's middle name is not Todd, and Todd's middle name is not Jane.
No, it's just you. I think we do the text to win thing, and
we'll give you a keyword.
You too can win 4 tickets to be in the Civic Media seats in beautiful AmFam Field, having a Miller High Life or whatever your beverage of choice is. All right, here once again, category, timely indeed. Zommers was on the DL list for a couple of days, feeling under the weather, and he got slapped for that. But anyway, he's back now. We're happy to have him. The category today, he went through both of these things. What's worse, sweaty or shivering? Sweaty or shivering? Zommers, I'm going to 855-752-4842, 855-752-4842. Zommers, you've gone through both of these in the last 48 hours.
Yeah, I guess technically in the last 48 hours. Although barely at this point. Yeah, right. We're moving past it. Right. But yeah, sweating and shivering at the same time, not fun.
No.
Fevers are not a good time.
No, not a good time at all. But a lot of people, they sweat easily. They're easy sweaters. And then some people get cold real easy. Some people say, I'm like a reptile. If it's cold out, I'm cold. So what's worse, shivering or sweaty? Sweaty or shivering? 855-752-4842, 855-752-4842, or you can also text us on the old Civic Media app. Download it today on your Apple or Android device because you're going to need it for the big Brewers Ticket Fiesta Friday coming up on Friday to win that. So get ready for that. What's worse, sweaty or shivering? 855-752-4842. Let's go to the phone lines. Back out to Richland Center, the old Driftless, WRCE. Listening is Whistler. Whistler, thanks for calling. Whistler, sweaty or shivering? What's worse?
I would have to say that shivering is worse.
Why is that?
Okay. Because you have no control over your feeling. Your whole body is vibrating.
Are you talking about
vibration vibration is good in some cases.
When you're ill, or like just naturally?
Naturally.
You're right. Well, yes.
Naturally.
Yeah. All right. Appreciate it, Whistler. Thank you so very much. 855-752-4842. Let's go to Mount Horeb and Troy.
Oh, wait, we're forgetting somebody.
We're going to get to that in a second.
Gotcha.
Let's go out to Troy in Mount Horeb. Troy.
Are you sure now?
Yeah, yes, we're sure, Troy. We're coming to you.
Franklin.
Sweaty or
Is your middle
shivering?
name Franklin.
No,
Oh,
my middle name is
not
not
that.
Franklin. Wouldn't that be great, though?
I'll go with sweating because it's easier to fix shivering.
See, I'm with you. I'm absolutely with you on that. I would agree. All
I
right.
can get warmer. I can't get cooler.
Yep, I agree. Thanks, Troy. Appreciate you playing along. Have a great day up there. 855-752-4842. Sweaty or shivering? Now, very special appearance because we called him on the air a minute ago because I got this thing. I've been canceled. And I don't think I'm important enough to be canceled. And so we called a few minutes ago on Kreitlow's phone, and it went to his voicemail. We left him a voicemail. And here now, not only is he calling back, he's live and in person via the stream from beautiful Lake Wissota, our very own Pat Kreitlow. Patrick, how are you?
What the hell was on my phone just now? I'm minding my own business. I'm actually folding some stuff to put in a suitcase because I'm off next week, which is what the memo was about. You might even recall I talked to you about possibly guest hosting. I'm suddenly thankful that you're not available for that next week. I found more responsible people who don't place prank calls to people and scare the bejesus out of them that they missed their regular on-air date with you. This is like phone terrorism over here to scare somebody going, oh my gosh, I forgot. I got to get back in. And then I listened to the message, something about day drinking and being canceled, when it was nothing more than the courtesy of reminding you didn't have to come on my show next week because I won't be there.
I appreciate it. All I saw was canceled event. And I said Wednesday, May 4th.
Is this how you always react when somebody cancels a meeting on your Google Calendar? Do you go to DEF CON 1 easily?
Normally, if a meeting's canceled, I'm like, oh, thank goodness.
I would like to say I did inform Todd that you are...
After we called.
Yes, after we called. That he'll be on vacation next week.
David New Pearland says Kreitlow is pissed.
I'm so puzzled. And to make matters worse, because I was doing that in one room, I left the phone in the other room, so my watch is going off, and I'm like, where's my phone? Where's my phone? Where's my phone? The one time I lose my phone is when I'm being called live on the air. So
I just thought it might be fun because we thought we
and I figured I'm just going to click on, come. Why should I return your phone call when I've got the key to the front door to show up right here for you?
Exactly the point.
Just like I will tomorrow when it is my regular time to be here.
I was just concerned that maybe I had offended you or done something wrong.
I'm concerned that you no longer read your emails thoroughly and you right away pop off before you. Point taken, Mr. Sommers. Point taken.
Well, you look. By the way, I'm not sure if it's the afternoon sun or you look fantastic right now.
Well, it's a lot different here than at 6:00 in the morning where the sun is. Yes, the Earth is kind of round that way, and yes, the lighting is a bit different.
L.A. Tom says, "Is this Pat's impression of Bill O'Reilly?"
We'll do it live.
Well, we love you, Pat. We love you. We're always happy to have you here.
Right back at you, buddy. And now we're both going to calm down, and you're going to get through the rest of your show somehow without me.
We'll look forward to seeing you tomorrow, though, Pat.
We'll see about that.
All right.
Bye, guys.
Pat Kreitlow, everybody. Thank you very much, Pat. We'll see you tomorrow. More of your phone calls. Ollie's next on the Allbaugh Show.
So confused. I got to block this number.
That was fantastic.
All
Thank
that
you.
comes up on here is Cottage Grove.
Real? That's the number is Cottage Grove?
Comes up as 608-688-9088, Cottage Grove, Wisconsin.
I mean, yeah, that's the number.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
No,
So-
and in full fairness, I didn't see May 14th until after we started calling you.
Oh, no, James Kelly did the same thing. James is like, so I guess I won't be on the show tomorrow? I'm like, look at the date. Yes, you will be on tomorrow. I'm actually working ahead of schedule.
Well, see, now I feel better that I'm not the only buffoon that, didn't
No,
read
you're
correctly.
not. But you get the Pat, you're live on the air. And I'm just like, oh,
the
no.
transcription.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh my God, that's hilarious. I know I said I'm live on the air because I didn't want you picking up the phone and saying, what the hell is the matter?
Oh man,
That was great.
I'll see you tomorrow morning on
See
my
you tomorrow
show,
morning.
per usual. All right. Okay.
Look forward to that.
Okay. Bye-bye. Bye.
Adios.
Bye. Bye.
Williamson Street and on Banner Road. Plus igniteglassandgifts.com.
Dave says, this is the stuff I'm missing? Damn, man. That's what makes radio so magic, is that it's live, there's no net, it's just in the moment, and you have fun.
Billions of dollars on new gas plants and a liquid natural gas pipeline. The plants would be in the town of Paris near Kenosha and Oak Creek near Milwaukee. Critics say the gas build-out is expensive, will cause air pollution that hurts people's health, and will lock Wisconsin into at least 30 more years of burning fossil fuels. The Public Service Commission has given the green light to a new solar project near Janesville. The Dawn Harvest Solar Center will produce enough energy to power 30,000 homes and features battery
Oh, that
storage
was
for
great.
days when
That
the
was
sun
fun.
isn't shining. It's expected to inject more than $90 million into the local economy. Knowledge is power. For a deep dive into environmental issues in Wisconsin, check out my
also,
Defender
got
podcast
about 30 seconds,
at
but quick thing.
cleanwisconsin.org or
LA Tom was
wherever you get your
asking
podcasts.
about who might fill in for Pat.
Everybody
I
wants
don't know.
the same thing
Earl
from
might,
their
but I don't
mattress.
think so
No,
because I don't think he's going to want to
Maybe someone
drive to the
listen
studio and
to what you
Racine
want and
for
knows the
6 a.m.
materials that will
It's,
get you there.
I believe
And
it's
Furlough
Matt
Weir, your
Rothschild, at least one of the days, and maybe a Doc in the Bach on a couple other days.
I think so.
Yeah.
All right, we got about 7 seconds.
Thank you, Dave. I appreciate it.
I love it when you do it like that, and when you're close up, give me the shivers. Oh, baby, you wanna dance till the sunlight cracks. And when they say the party's over, then we'll bring it right back, and we'll say,
Welcome back to the dance party on a Tuesday afternoon from Lake Wissota to the shores of Lake Michigan, where they're trying to get the boat out of the water. Apparently, Cavalier Johnson is in waders. Mayor Cavalier Johnson has put on waders. He is doing his best to push the boat. I believe that Giannis Antetokounmpo is out there as well, trying to, with his height, lift it up. So they're trying to get the boat
Might be their best bet.
out of Lake Michigan. Welcome back to the Todd Allbaugh Show on the Civic Media Radio Network. It is 23 now, past the hour of 3 o'clock. Many thanks to Pat Kreitlow. What a guy he is. I mean, playing along with our goofiness. Great program. I'll be on it tomorrow morning. Pat Kreitlow, 6 until 9, and then Kreitlow and Trygve Olsen on our program tomorrow afternoon. We're right in the middle. That's why Dahmer's play. Who sings that song?
That is Ed Sheeran.
Oh, yes, of course. Ed Sheeran. Sweaty or shivering? What's worse? 855-752-4842. 855-752-4842. You can text us on the Civic Media app. Let's go up to, let's go up to the North Woods. Ollie, listening in the North Woods. Ollie, thanks for holding. Sweaty or shivering, Ollie? What's worse?
Oh, well, first off, I have to say I love Pat's counterattack live on your show.
You don't
awesome.
that right? You don't want to mess with Kreitlow. He'll come after you, full gun.
Yeah, apparently so. I listen to him in the morning. I've never seen him after.
It's a whole new side of Kreitlow. You're
That's
getting the
right.
afternoon version of him.
You know, it's not Kreitlow after dark. It's Kreitlow after light, because he's normally up before the sun.
Exactly.
So after after sunlight, huh?
Exactly. Battery packed.
Well, my what's worse is definitely being too hot. You can always put on more clothes if you're shivering, but you can never take off enough if you're hot.
At least to get
go out and about.
Right, at least to get away with it, right?
That's right.
Appreciate the call, Ollie. Thank you so very much. Have a great day up there in the North Woods.
You too. Bye-bye.
Thank you. 855-752-4842. 855-752-4842. What's worse, sweaty or shivering? Corinne, who is coming up next in our next segment, she's already listening in, and she says that shivering is worse. Dahmer, you've had your piece. I'll give you mine. My opinion is that, yes, shivering is worse. Do
you care to elaborate?
Well, just because, I don't know. I'm going to amend that. I'm going to amend that to shivering is worse when you're sick. I guess that's what I was thinking of. Like when you're ill and you can't get rid of the shivers. But I agree with Ollie in kind of normal conditions that sweaty because, and it's not so much of getting warmer or colder. For me, when I think of when I sweat, it's usually like when I have good clothes on and I'm getting ready for like a presentation or I'm doing something. And you're like in clothes, and now your clothes are like all sweaty, and it's like, oh, you can't dry off, and you go in the men's room and stand in front of a blow dryer and try to, dry off your armpits. That's why I usually wear a white color shirt because nothing's worse than pit stains like a dark color shirt.
I will forever say that being sweaty is worse because as another caller said in different words, you can always add more layers to warm up and stop the shivering. Right. You can only take off so many layers before you are committing a crime. And even then, it's not enough sometimes.
Even then, it's not enough. 855-752-4842. Let's go out to beautiful Merrimack. I cannot think of a better place to be on a day like this than the Wisconsin River and the Merrimack Ferry. Jack from Merrimack. Jack, thanks for calling in. Sweaty or shivering, what's worse?
Well, first of all, there's no way I can beat that previous 5 minutes.
He was on, wasn't he? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my.
He's great.
Okay, so as an old mountain climber, there's an old saying which is there is no weather that's too cold. There's only the wrong clothes.
Yes. Yes.
And as has been pointed out at least a couple of times, you can only take so much off, and even if you go beyond the legal limits, you can still only take so much off.
Right. But Jack, you can bring up a great point. You bring up a great point here. Let's talk about this for a minute because as a climber, as a hiker, I mean, one of the worst things, and I haven't done a bunch of rock climbing, but I've done other hiking, and that's why it's that base layer, you want a base layer that's going to breathe and dry quickly because nothing worse, right, Jack, than getting that base layer wet and then you're just kind of screwed SOL for the rest of the day.
Well, as a guy that's climbed an all-day climb at 103 degrees in the Nevada desert, I will agree with you on that.
Really? Wow, you climbed out there. That's incredible. How was that?
Beautiful, beautiful country.
Yeah.
We saw mountain sheep and bighorns. There's antelopes out there. There's even burros out there in the desert.
Wow, incredible. Thanks, Jack. As always, appreciate your listenership. Have a great day, my friend. Enjoy the day. Megan in Sun Prairie, listening on WMDX, says being sweaty is gross and feels way worse. Shivering isn't so bad and easily remedied. All right, there you go. Another edition of What's Worse. Any other things we missed there in the What's Worse?
Corey in Watertown says, based on smell alone, sweating is worse than shivering.
Well, that's true. You don't stink when you shiver most of the time anyway. All right, that was fun. Another edition of What's Worse. We'll have another edition tomorrow in the 3 o'clock hour. We'll see if we can get Kreitlow and Trigby to weigh in on the What's Worse tomorrow.
I'm sure Trigby will at least want to. He's been enjoying that of late.
He's been enjoying the What's Worse edition, and now we got Kreitlow riled up in the afternoon. Maybe he'll stick around. At least give us his opinion on what's worse as well. Come on back. A little sports and news update, agricultural update from Pam Yonke and the team. And then we're going to come back and talk about childcare in the state of Wisconsin. Not going to want to miss it. You're listening to the Allbaugh Show, and you're listening to Cross Wisconsin, to the Civic Media Radio Network.
Give me the shivers. Oh, baby, you wanna dance till the sunlight cracks. When they say the party's over, then we'll bring it right back.
You're listening to 92.7 WMDX.
This is your local Civic Media radio station. Want to hear even more?
Corrine. I'm sorry I mispronounced the name. Zombers tells me it's Corrine. Is that correct?
Yes, you're good.
All right. Sorry about that. So Corrine Hendrickson, correct?
Yes.
All right. Very good. And do you know how to pronounce Matt's last name? He's not here yet.
I think it's Raboyne.
Okay. We'll ask him when he comes in. I was like trying to make sure that I say them correctly. So, and you're located in what town?
That's fine. New Glarus.
Beautiful. Oh, I love New Glarus. I love the Dirty Dog Tap House. I go to Bailey's Run with my friends often in the summer months. And
well, you drive right by my house.
Really? Oh, it's a beautiful town. I love New Glarus.
Yeah, it's the green one with the big fence as you're leaving town, with all the toys. God. Imagine that.
Oh, of course, right? Yeah. We just ate at another place. Go downtown. You kind of you go further. I'll call it further downtown. To the right hand side is like a bar and grill there. I can't think of the name of it, but we had a great burger and beer there. Because I have close friends that live in Monroe, so we can meet in New Glarus. So it's not quite halfway.
Yeah, Clemens, Tofflers.
I don't know. That's what we were talking
Those
about.
Those would be
actually.
the places with good burgers.
We're talking that, especially for its size, New Glarus has so many places to eat, so many great places to enjoy something.
We're very fortunate to have a huge tourist industry that really supports our businesses. I'm concerned what's going to happen with the tariffs. And if people don't have money, they won't come. And then what will happen to our businesses? Yeah. And then I don't know if you guys heard, the JFC just booted childcare accounts as of Thursday.
I did not hear that. Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Wow.
I just found out 2 hours ago. So I'm a little saltier. Yeah, I will bring that up.
Well, make sure you bring that up. Yeah, absolutely.
Yep, they just put out their big, huge, lovely list of things they're going to get rid of. It appears, though, that the postpartum did not get kicked out, the 12-month postpartum.
Wow, that's interesting. Maybe they finally stood up to Voss in caucus or something.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, yeah.
Can you not hear us anymore? Testing 1 2 3 3 2 1.
Yeah.
Test 1 2. We still hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes. Can you hear us?
Yep. Can hear you. Test 1 2.
I can't hear you.
We can hear you.
Yeah. Matt, how are you?
Hello.
I will
Sorry, it's a little
bounce
late.
out and bounce back in.
Can you hear me okay?
Work.
Yep, I can hear you, Matt. Can you
great.
pronounce your last name, please, Matt?
Raboyne.
Raboyne. Okay, very good.
Yep.
All right, very good. Corine's going to go back out and come back in. We could hear her, but she couldn't hear us. So.
Oh, okay.
All right, can you hear us now?
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay.
And Matt, you're owner of Brick Cider, correct?
Correct. Yeah.
All right, awesome. Just make sure we get the title right. I'm just telling Corine, my close friends live in Monroe, so we go to New Glarus a lot and to hang out. So now I've got a new spot to go to try out.
Yeah, you got to come out to Mount Horeb now.
Yeah, exactly.
Brick cider. Yeah. No,
All
it's
right,
a good
30
spot.
seconds.
Pursuing truth wherever it may lead and having fun doing it. Welcome back to the Todd Allbaugh Show on the Civic Media Radio Network. Glad to have you along across the state of Wisconsin, from Lake Superior to Lake Michigan, Green Bay to the Mississippi River, and every place in between. A beautiful day out there in Wisconsin. Sunshiny skies, temperatures in the 70s. Great day to maybe throw a steak on the grill tonight, sit out and have a beverage of your choice, and bring on a couple of guests. We're happy to have them here. They're members of the Main Street Alliance program here in the state of Wisconsin, a great small business owners program. And joining us via StreamYard right now, we have Matt Raboyne from Mount Horeb, the owner of Brick Cider, and Corrine Hendrickson of Corrine's Little Explorers, part of the Main Street Alliance in beautiful New Glarus, Wisconsin. Mount Horeb, New Glarus, two fantastic places you should all visit in Wisconsin. Matt, let's bring you on first. Appreciate you being here. Tell us a little bit about Brick Cider, what people can expect when they go out there.
Hey Todd, thanks for having us on the show. Yeah, Brick Cider, we're a hard cider company and farm to table restaurant. And so everything we do, we source local foods, local drink, make it for the people. And yeah, it's a great place. We're really part of the community. We do a lot of events and stuff there as well. And tonight we're on the show in part because we have an event tonight with Corrine, all about childcare. We like being engaged in the community and being a voice or giving people a place to connect. And so we like doing events like this. And when Corrine reached out, we're like, yeah, let's do it. Why not? I think Corrine has, she's like, I've heard her called the godmother of childcare in Wisconsin. And I think it's true. I mean, I think she's really a great voice and great advocate. And we're looking forward to learning from her tonight.
Well, what time does the event start? And do people need to pre-register, or can they just show up?
They can just show up. It's at 6:00 tonight. And yeah, it's a conversation about childcare. I'll be there. I'll chat a little bit. And then we have the Raging Grannies are going to be there. Apparently they have a special new song that they wrote just for us, which I'm really excited to hear. And then Corrine's going to speak, and then we'll have a little discussion, community discussion, Q&A, thing like that. Because childcare is such an important issue right now. Or lack of funding for childcare, sources of funding for childcare is such an issue right now. So we're just happy to be able to help spread the word.
We appreciate small businesses like yours it's small business supporting small business. And again, if people want to come out tonight, Brick's Cider is located at 119 South 2nd Street in Mount Horeb. And you can go out and enjoy some great hard cider, some great food as well, and learn something and maybe a little entertainment as well. We'll come back to Matt in just a minute. But Corrine, I want to bring you on next. Tell us a little bit about the business, first of all. Corrine's Little Explorers in beautiful New Glarus there. How long have you been in business, and about how many kids or families do you service?
So I have been in business for 18 years, and I have currently 7 children enrolled and 6 families. It's actually the most amount of families I've ever had for that number of kids, because people are having fewer children. So that's a big part of what's happening. The birth rates are lower. It's too expensive for childcare. They're spreading children out further. So I'll have families for longer periods because they'll wait until their oldest is 4 or 5 before they have another one. For years already, they've been talking to me about when I have the next spot so they can plan their pregnancies around that. So this is nothing new.
Wow.
As far as that goes. Today, I'm loving this beautiful weather. We've been outside all day. The kids are much happier. They took really good naps. So I actually had a little time to digest the news that I got during nap time that the Joint Finance Committee is meeting Thursday to do their very first exec session, and their omnibus actually kicks childcare counts out of it. We've been saved the last 2 rounds of the budget, and this time they've already decided that childcare counts is dead. However, we've been pushing for childcare investment. We haven't been using the word childcare counts. We've been using investment because we really want to tweak the program so more goes to wages, because that is the ultimate issue, the inability of us to pay ourselves or our employees a livable wage. And that's why everybody's leaving, and that's why there's no care, and that's why it's so expensive.
Corrine, I'm so thankful to have an expert like you on the program. One of the things we like to do here, because what you just said, the Joint Finance Committee on Thursday looking to kick out childcare accounts. Put this down for folks like me that don't have kids, that don't work in childcare. Explain what that means to you as a childcare provider, and what it means to families who either have or are trying to plan families and childcare. What does this really mean to Wisconsinites?
So what it means is that hundreds to thousands of childcare small businesses will probably be closed by the end of the year. It means our tuition rates are going to be going up $30, $40, $50 a week. It means that there's going to be longer wait lists. It means that the quality of care is going to go down, because the people who have been in the business and understand children and child development and can mentor and support new people coming in are going to be gone.
So are these monies, state monies, that we're going to supplement childcare to make it less costly for families, or to offset? And I'm kind of asking 2 things at once. I apologize, but let's just go there. What are these monies that Joint Finance Committee is looking at taking away? What would that normally fund right now?
So right now, our state invests $0 in childcare of state dollars. Everything we get is the federal government. We are still using up the federal allocation from COVID relief. Our governor was actually able to stave off the cliff for an extra year by reallocating funding that had come through to other departments. So other departments gave up their money for childcare because they realized that without us, their departments won't function. And so it was pretty easy for him to do that. But there is no more couch cushion coins. There's nothing left. So our state is one of 6 states that doesn't invest a single penny more than we have to in order to receive hundreds of millions from the federal government. And that covers subsidy, it covers licensing, it covers the ability for parents to find childcare, everything, like literally everything is where that money comes from. And so we've been asking for the state to continue funding the pilot program that we basically put into place to prove that investment would work, because investment has increased our wages $3 an hour. We're up to $13 an hour, which is, woohoo. But still, it's enough that it kept us, going and kept us, surviving. But we're tired. It's been 5 years, and having this happen during Teacher Appreciation Week, Provider Appreciation Day is Friday, and to find out that they don't think that we're worth anything is really disheartening. But it's also an opportunity for us to really talk with our parents, talk with our communities, and let them know this is, as of August, this is what you're looking at if they do not do something as an amendment in a future session, or if they don't do something as a standalone itemized appropriation bill.
We're talking to Corrine Hendrickson, who is the owner of Corrine's Little Explorers Childcare, part of the Main Street Alliance. She is in New Glarus, and also talking to Matt Raboyne, Mount Horeb from Brick Cider, where there is an event talking about childcare tonight at 6:00 in Mount Horeb. I want to kind of throw this question to both of you, Corrine first, and then to Matt, and pick up, Corrine, on what you just said here, that the Joint Finance Committee, of course, controlled by Republicans right now, signaling that they're not going to put any more money in to take over this program because these federal monies have been supplementing it. They're not willing to put more in. Last time I checked, Wisconsin has about a $4 billion surplus out there. It would seem to me a smart bet would be put some of that $4 billion with a B into helping folks like you and families with childcare. And then, Matt, I'm going to come back to you in a second, ask as a business owner. We've talked to TJ Samanchian, owner of Wonder State Coffee in Viroqua and other places, who is a part of Main Street Alliance as well. He's talked about trying to be supportive of his employees. I want to talk about that with you, Matt. But first, Corrine, wouldn't that seem to be a logical place to get this money from the $4 billion surplus? Or am I just, off the ranch here?
Well, that would be common sense because every state that has put money into investment in making sure it goes towards wages or increasing the revenue without having to increase the revenue on parents has seen their GDP go up, has seen their sales tax go up, has seen their number of people working go up, has seen their unemployment go down. So really, every dollar that's spent in childcare, it has been found to bring back between 7 and 14. Washington, D.C. found a 23% return on investment, which means for every dollar they're spending on increasing wages for the educators, they've gotten $23 back. So yeah, it doesn't make any sense that they're not doing it. Our state loses between $2 and $4 billion already because of the lack of childcare. And so what we're asking for is peanuts, and it will come back tenfold.
Matt, let's pick up on that. Have you seen it at your business, Brick Cider in Mount Horeb? So any of your employees struggle with finding or be able to pay for childcare? And as a small business owner, what would that mean to you if the state would invest in childcare and make it easier for your employees to find those services?
Well, yeah, I absolutely think we need to invest in childcare. It's, just as a parent, first of all, like a family of 4, if you have 2 kids in childcare in Wisconsin, on average, you're going to pay $25,000 a year. Like, that's huge. That's like, we talk about saving up for college, but what about saving up for daycare? It's a lot of money. And we have employees who have kids in daycare, and we're a restaurant. We're not paying them huge amounts of money. There's not a lot of support out there. Yeah, you get a little bit of some tax credits for having small children, and there's a little bit of money for people who are low income, but it's not enough, not nearly enough to meet the demand that's out there. So I don't know. I think what we need to do is just recognize that this is a hugely important thing for our children at the most impressionable and vulnerable time in their lives. Like, we need to just own the fact that this isn't cheap. We can't just like find a cheap, easy solution. We need to like make a real investment and commit to it. And we fund our kids in K through 12, and that's a great thing. And public schools are great, and it does so much for our communities. We do quite a bit to support the elderly, like Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid. Why are we forgetting like the littlest kids and just providing almost nothing at all? And as a business owner, it would be huge, if like I had a guy come in a few weeks ago for an interview. He brought his kid with him to the interview because he didn't have and it's just kind of a red flag as a business owner. Like, what, I felt terrible, but I was like, I can't hire this guy because he doesn't have a place for his kid to go. And, it's just kind of sad. Whereas, and as a business owner also, like, one of the hardest things is people calling in sick. And then when I have people with small children, more often than not is when they call in sick, it's because they don't have childcare for that day. Somebody bailed out on them or whatever it might have been. So this lack of investment in childcare ripples out into the economy in so many ways. And it's just frankly, it's just kind of stupid. Like, of all the things to not invest in, like our littlest kids.
Right.
And I mean, if I make one more point, frankly, the people who are pushing back against this, the people in the Joint Finance Committee, like, my opinion is that they're just, frankly, old white guys who see childcare as a woman's job and something that is not worth paying for. And I think we got to like get past that mentality and jump into the modern age and be realistic and honest about it and pay people. I mean, this is like the most important job I can think of, and we're paying people like what, $12 an hour, like the same you pay like the kid who's serving your meal through the window at Culver's. Like,
we're going to come back to more come back and talk more with Matt and Corinne about childcare. I happen to know the one of the co-chairman of the Joint Finance Committee, Howard Markline. He traded his wife in for a trophy wife, so that's kind of where he's at with women. So we'll come back and talk more about true story. Actually, come back and talk more about childcare, holding people accountable. It's the Allbaugh Show on the Civic Media Radio Network.
I can't remember exactly who it was, if it was Robin Voss or somebody else.
No, he's a wife number 3.
No,
Howard's only on 2.
This is a different thing that one of them said. They explicitly said what Matt was saying, that, well, just leave the kids with grandma.
Well, yeah,
it's like, come on.
And we're going to come back, and that's all I want to talk about a little bit.
Mark Lyon's wife is actually watching the grandkids right now. He admitted it in an interview.
Oh my God!
Come on, buddy.
His first wife or his second one?
His current wife is watching their grandkids.
All right.
At least 2, potentially 7.
Yeah, one of the worst political mistakes I ever made back when I was Republican. I actually campaigned for Howard, his first campaign for assembly, and was a totally different person in terms of like what he campaigned on and stuff. And then he got elected, and he has been a completely different guy. And I mean, whatever. But yeah, he left his first wife for this younger, hotter chick, and so I just, as somebody who left the Republican Party back in 2011, I'm always kind of just astounded by the hypocrisy in my former party.
Yeah, well, it's just the lack of integrity that bothers me more than anything. Yeah. Like Dewey Strobel, I didn't like, but he was honest.
Really?
I could respect
That's interesting.
That. I could respect it. He told us to our face we shouldn't exist. That's fine.
Wow. He said that? Oh my God.
Yeah.
Like childcare?
Yeah. Women should stay home. Mm-hmm. But again, I can respect that. I know where you stand. We're, at least I knew.
Back of the 1800s. Yeah. He stands a little house on the prairie.
Thank you, Matt, by the way. Thank you for saying it so I didn't have to.
Yeah, you're welcome. Oh, Lordy. All right. Anything specifically you want to make sure we get to before we'll have about 6.5, 7 minutes left when we come back? All right. We'll make sure we plug the event a couple of times as well.
To disasters such as wildfires and floods. They protect us with missile defense, cybersecurity, and civilian support teams for chemical, biological, and radiological hazards. Be there for your community and your country. Visit NationalGuard.com to learn more about part-time service. Sponsored by the Wisconsin Army National Guard. Aired by the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association and this station.
Carmelo Anthony for the Bail Project.
Bad news, you've been arrested.
Got about 30 seconds.
Thank you.
Innocent until proven guilty. If you can pay your bill.
Welcome back to the Allbaugh Show on the Civic Media Radio Network, where it is 8 minutes now before the hour of 4 o'clock. At the top of the hour, ABC or CBS News, depending upon which of our great stations you're listening to all across Wisconsin. A sports update with Jimmy Kuska in for Mike Clemens. A weather update. I can tell you what the weather is. Beautiful. That's what it is. And then the Maggie Dawn Show, the award-winning Maggie Dawn Show from 4 until 6. And then Pete Schwaba is in with another great edition of Nightlight. Great place for you to get to tonight if you want to enjoy the weather, a couple of great beverages, and some great information. Get yourself to beautiful Mount Horeb, Wisconsin, and Bricks Cider. They're on South Main Street, 119 South Main Street. Great event tonight on childcare. You can also get some great hard cider, some great food at Bricks, B-R-I-X, Bricks Cider. Zomers has the information up on the website. We are talking to the owner of Bricks Cider, Matt Raboyan in Mount Horeb, and also Corrine Hendrickson, who is the owner of Corrine's Little Explorers in beautiful New Glarus. They are both part of Main Street Alliance here in Wisconsin. Corrine, great event tonight. I know people are going to want to come out and just enjoy the weather, number one, and some great hard cider. But I know you're going to be there. You're going to be talking. Talk to us a minute, if you would, please. Here's the deal. People have listened to this show. I'm a former Republican. I left the party in 2011. One of the things that confounds me about my former party is the current administration in D.C., they're all about having kids. Let's have kids. Let's have kids. but it seems to me there's a huge disconnect of what happens after they're here. And it seems to me that they're not interested in, particularly Republicans in Wisconsin on the Joint Finance Committee, with this news now that you're telling us broke this afternoon, that they're signaling on Thursday they're not going to make up for these deficiencies in federal funds. This is real. These are families these are not people that are just laying around trying to be quote unquote lazy. Tell us a little bit about, without disclosing personal information, who comes to you? Who are your clients in your community, and what service do you provide them? Because it's more than childcare. It's a partnership, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Oh, definitely. So the families that I have range anywhere from working retail to a surgeon to I have farmers. I have all kinds of different people from all different walks of life have used me in the past also. So I've had to raise my rates significantly over the last few years just to keep up with inflation and just to try and make a little bit more money for myself, because I have nothing for retirement, and I need to make more than $25,000 a year. It's unconscionable. And so what's happened is, because I'm outpricing myself, I'm ending up with the families that can afford me, which are the richer families. And so the children that I have are less diverse as far as their backgrounds and their socioeconomic status. And that's not good for kids either. I've also had a lot of kids with special needs over the years. And so I'm able to help support them and work with the school districts and birth to 3 to make sure they get the services they need when they're little. And then a lot of times those kids actually don't end up needing speech or anything else once they get to school. If you don't meet those speech needs when they're little and help them communicate and learn how to communicate, 2 and 3 year olds bite a lot, hit a lot, throw a lot. If you teach them how to communicate appropriately, when they get to school, they are ready to learn. They are ready to sit and listen. When they're out in public with their parents, they're so much, they're able to behave as expected in that. And I partner with parents on how to raise their children. More and more parents are coming into parenthood without experience. They're not babysitting when they're younger. They have smaller families. They don't have 100 cousins like I did. Literally, I have 100 cousins. And so it's one of those things. I was raised doing childcare. They're a lot younger than me, but it's one of those things that parents are coming to me and they've never held a child until their own. And so I'm really partnering with them and doing parent coaching and childcare and education with their children and really working with them in that way. So what you're going to lose when we leave is you're going to lose those partnerships. You're going to lose that ability to help parents in parenthood. And yes, there's a place for people who want to stay home. There is a place for those neighbors and things like that in our society, but we have to have those connections and we have to have those services and the libraries and the museums and all those things in place so that those moms aren't isolated, because isolation leads to mental health issues, leads to things that we don't want to talk about, but that exist, neglect and abuse and all of that type of thing. And so really, when you're undercutting childcare, you're undercutting the entire foundation of our communities and what holds us together. And I don't know how to say that without people thinking I'm alarmist and that I'm greedy and I want a handout, but it's the truth. And we really need to take a step back and think about it. And I want every single one of those Joint Finance Committee members and every single one of those Republicans who want to vote no for childcare investment to spend a full 10-hour days with me in my program. And then the next 4 hours afterwards doing all the other things that I do. And then all week long. And then you can let me know that I don't earn my $7 an hour.
Well said, Matt. In a minute or less, tell us again this event tonight at Brick Cider. Remind us where this is at, what's going on, but also as business people, small business owners like yourself, what can we do to be supportive?
Yeah, so it's we're Brick Cider. We're downtown Mount Horeb. We're on 2nd Street, right next to the bike path. So it's a lovely day for a bike ride. Maybe bike on down, grab yourself a drink, and listen to Corrine and tell us the whole story. And yeah, and just echoing what Corrine said, in this childcare, it matters for all of us. It matters for the whole community. Like, as a small business owner, it would be wonderful to have, all of my employees have great childcare. It's so expensive. They could use some help with it. And it's not like these childcare providers are gouging us. It's just an intensive, hard thing to do. Like, I remember my kids, like the child care providers they were like superhuman, and and in the end they're barely getting paid enough to make a living. So
Corrine, gonna give you the last word, 30 seconds. What's your pitch to Wisconsinites? How can they be supportive?
So, Wisconsinites, Day Without Childcare is Monday. I expect every one of you to call our elected representatives and tell them that you expect them to invest in childcare. So, thanks.
Hey, that's great. Thank you both. Get to Brick Cider in Mount Horeb tonight. Corrine Hendrickson's going to be speaking there. Thanks for everything you do, Corrine, because without people like you, we will be lost. You're part of what makes Wisconsin great. Matt Raboyan at Brick Cider, you're also part of what makes Wisconsin great. We're all in this together at the Wisconsin Main Street Alliance, a great project as well. Thank you both for being here. We appreciate you. Get down to Brick Cider tonight at 6 o'clock. Thank you very much. Many thanks to Pat Kreitlow for coming on as well. Aaron Zomers, to all of you for listening. Whatever you're fighting for, whatever you believe in, do not give up. Keep banging your drum. We'll see you tomorrow. Maggie Dawn's next. Take care.
Thanks.
Yeah, thank you, Todd.
That was great.
All right, everybody. Thank you guys so much. We really, really appreciate you. Great job, both of you.